So today I'm going to be sharing with you the best skin tints of the summer for mature skin. I finally put the list together. I ranked them from worst to best, and I can't wait to share them with you. So in case you're interested, then keep on watching. Hey guys, it's Kat and welcome to my channel. You guys, I've been hard at work behind the scenes testing and retesting all the skin tints that I have tested out. How many times am I going to say test? So far this year. Now we are in the middle of July. It is super hot here in the state of Tennessee. Hot, muggy, humid. So I couldn't wait to share this list of the best skin tints of the summer for mature skin. Now, if you're new here, I am over 50, 58 to be exact. I have normal to dry skin, hyperpigmentation, melasma, fine lines, pores, texture, and I love testing out skin tints, foundations, all types of complexion products for mature skin. So I finally put together this list because this year has been quite a year for skin tints, from the drugstore, from high end, and it has kept me busy doing all these reviews. Now, I didn't include any true foundations in this video. It's strictly skin tints with or without SPF. And I did not include skin tint sticks. That is super hard to say because I know I reviewed the Milani Conceal and Perfect Skin Tint Stick, which I absolutely love, but that's not going to be in this video. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to rate all the foundation sticks in an upcoming video, because that would be super telling. I have everything from Dior to Essence to Milani. So yeah, leave a comment down below and let me know. So let's start out with number 5. This was a huge disappointment. And the way I ranked these and what made me decide which was really good or really bad was these things for consideration: price point, coverage, finish, and longevity. So number 5 on the list is from Merit Beauty, the Uniform. Now, this retails for $38 and it comes in 15 shades. I had somewhat of an issue of finding the correct shade, but I wound up on shade number 28. This is also a mineral broad spectrum SPF of 45. So you get a really high SPF factor there, which is absolutely wonderful. However, I remember when I was reviewing this, it looked so beautiful from here on up, but then remember from here on down, it just did not look good. It was starting to break up. It looked a little patchy on my complexion, and you definitely have to work fast because this dries down quite quickly. Now, it didn't oxidize on my complexion. It just really looked smooth and pretty, and throughout the course of the day, it did provide a good SPF. However, after going back, revisiting it, and retesting it again for over 14 hours, as you can see in this video, it did the same thing. It started breaking up below my cheekbones, and it just kind of looked really messy. Now, from the cheeks on up, it's beautiful. And also another fantastic thing about the Uniform is you don't have to use primer. It really does glide on smooth, but you have to work fast. It's somewhat of a pseudo thick formula. It's not super runny like most skin tints are, but as you can see, it really does dry down fast. It almost dries down to a powdery finish, and it's not greasy whatsoever. So if you have normal to dry skin and you're worried about texture, you definitely don't have to worry about using a primer with the Merit Beauty. It does provide nice medium coverage. It is definitely buildable. However, you don't need to powder it at all because it does dry down rather quickly. So that's why it's number 5 on the list. Price point $38, 15 shades, light to medium coverage, and an SPF of 45. That's why the Merit Beauty wound up number 5 on my list, simply because it broke apart on the lower portion of my face. It did not last for over 12 hours, but it is definitely a beautiful skin tint with a nice SPF, but it doesn't have a lot of longevity, unfortunately. So that's why the Merit Beauty, the Uniform, is number 5 on my list. Number 4 on the list is from Milk Makeup. This retails for $38, and it too comes in 15 shades. I'm in the shade number 5. I remember testing this out, and I remember what a beautiful dewy finish it has. Light to medium coverage and also 0 SPF. This is a unique formula because it actually grips onto the complexion like their Hydro Grip Primer. This is actually a really beautiful skin tint. I wore this a couple of weeks ago. I know I've been testing out other things on this channel, but this I actually really liked. That's why it's number 4. It plays well with cream products, with powdered products, and it gives a nice even complexion. I love the consistency of this skin tint. It's beautiful. It's much runnier than the Merit, but for some reason, it was super easy to apply and it just looks so dewy and fresh on the complexion. Now you do have to powder it if you have somewhat of an oily complexion, but if you have a normal to dry complexion like I do, you're gonna love its radiance and luminosity. It's super pretty on the skin, and although it doesn't have an SPF, I love the coverage and I love the soft, dewy finish that it provides. It's a beautiful formula. I know a lot of people don't like it, but for some reason, I love it on my complexion. It looks very skin-like, and I love the fact that it lasts long on the complexion. So this is number 4 on the best skin tints of the summer. Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Skin Tint. Now number 3 on the list is finally from the drugstore. Now this was a skin tint that I absolutely loved at the beginning of the year. When it was a little bit cooler, it was winter time, and the air was a little drier. But oh my gosh, going back to this skin tint during the heat and the thick of summer, this truly shocked me. But this is still a great skin tint with a bit of modifications. It is from NYX. It is the NYX Buttermelt Glaze Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 30. Now you know I love this skin tint. It has beautiful light to medium coverage. It retails for $16 and it comes in 10 flexible shades. That's another thing what I love about skin tints. They tend to be a little bit more forgiving in terms of shade match. This also is formulated with skincare ingredients like niacinamide as well as mango shea butter, so it gives you that nice dewy finish. I'm actually in the shade Vanilla Bean Butta, and this one I tested out for over 14 hours. Since it's loaded down with that mango shea butter to give you that nice dewy finish. If you want to wear this during the summertime, you would have to use a finishing powder or a translucent powder to set it. Now I pushed this Buttermelt Glaze to over 14 hours yesterday, and I was so disappointed how it just started separating and just started moving around on my complexion, kind of almost getting clumpy. Definitely need to powder this skin tint. At the end of like 10 or 12 hours, I could see it breaking up around my chin and my mouth area. However, it still stayed pretty well up through here. Now I did use the Maybelline Poreless Jelly Primer, and it did a great job of adhering to the complexion. Now keep in mind, this is 14 hours on the skin since 7 a.m. and very disappointing. I did not powder it on purpose because I wanted it in its pure form, in its purest form, to see how it would last. And unfortunately, because it is summertime, I'm gonna have to rank it lower. It's definitely better if you use a setting powder with it because it is very dewy, very hydrating on the complexion. And like I said, I have normal to dry skin. My skin is definitely very shiny. And keep in mind, this is after 14 hours. So longevity is okay, but if you want it to last longer, definitely use a gripping primer as well as a setting powder, especially in this heat and humidity. It got up to about 92 degrees today here, but I'm going to turn my lights down so you can see exactly what this did. That is not a deal breaker for me. I did not set it at 7 a.m. in the morning. I worked all day. I got off of work. I did some drugstore shopping. That will be coming up in a future video. And by the time I got home around 8 or 9 o'clock, my face was a goopy, greasy mess because I did not set this with a finishing powder, which is kind of disappointing because in the summertime, we all want to just throw on something really quick and easy that's really going to stay on all day, provide us with a nice SPF if you need an SPF, and not break up at the end of the day. If you purchase the Buttermelt Glaze from NYX, you're gonna have to use something to set it with, especially if you have an oily complexion. Heck, I'm normal to dry, and I really went out in the elements. It was a hot, muggy day here in Tennessee, and it just fell apart on my complexion after 10 hours. Longevity is quite good with this skin tint. However, you will have to set it if you don't want it to disappear on your complexion. But for the price point, for the coverage, the nice skincare ingredients, this is definitely third on my list of the best skin tints of the summer. Are you getting excited? I am. This one I thought was going to be number one. The second best skin tint of the summer for mature skin is going to be from e.l.f. It is the new Halo Glow Skin Tint SPF 50. To me, 50 is quite high, and I know a lot of people were kind of upset because this skin tint is $18 and typically e.l.f. is super affordable. However, there are a lot of skin-loving ingredients in this formula as well as an SPF of 50, which is probably one of the highest SPFs on the market right now. We see 30, we see 40, we see 45, but 50 for me, that's like the highest. I actually prefer this over the NYX Buttermelt Glaze, and I'm going to tell you why. It's super easy to apply. You can use your fingertips. It has better longevity. It also has a higher SPF. Now, I did prime the complexion with the Maybelline Poreless Jelly Primer. You know that's one of my absolute favorite drugstore primers. Now, going back to the NYX Buttermelt Glaze, I did prime my complexion with the same primer from Maybelline, and it didn't make a difference. However, with the e.l.f. Halo Glow Skin Tint, this lasted longer on my complexion. I pushed it past 12 hours. It didn't break apart. It didn't look greasy. Well, it kind of looked a little greasy at the end of the day, but you have to remember, this was over 12 hours of testing out this skin tint. Once again, it has beautiful light to medium coverage. It's super easy to apply. You've got that insurance of an SPF of 50, and it really does look beautiful on the skin. Now, I chose not to powder my complexion with any of these retestings because, like I said, we want that ease and ability of just throwing on something quick, provide nice light to medium coverage, and not fuss with our makeup all day long. So this one was a pleasant surprise where I didn't have to set it with any sort of setting powder, and it did really well throughout the course of the day. Still kept my skin looking nice and fresh and also protected from the sun. But that's why this is number two in my book. $18, 18 shades. I'm in the shade 5 Light Warm. This is beautiful. You do, in my opinion, have to use a primer to get it a little smoother, to really grab onto that skin tint so it can shine and last all day long. But yeah, this is a beautiful formula. I love the e.l.f. Halo Glow Skin Tint. It is a little bit pricier than most drugstore foundations or skin tints, but it's absolutely worth it. I love it. It doesn't show any texture on the skin, and it's simply beautiful. And it's from e.l.f. Now, for number one, my best summer skin tint. Can you guess what it is? I'm actually wearing it right now. This one totally shocked me. And every time I wear it, it really blows me away. And it's super affordable. It is the most affordable skin tint out of this entire list. At a price point of $13.99 and 14 shades, this was my number one skin tint. It's the new CoverGirl Clean Fresh Blurring Skin Tint SPF 30. Now this took me by surprise because I typically don't have a lot of good luck with any sort of CoverGirl complexion products. I've tried them. Trust me, I have. But this one actually shocked me. It has a soft matte finish. And I know we always like to have that dewy, fresh complexion, but when it's the middle of summer and the humidity is kicking in and the heat is so unbearable, you want something that's going to stay intact without any extra steps. And this is the skin tint that's absolutely going to do it for you. You don't need to use primer because there's so many silicones in this particular formula where you can just bypass primer. It really just smooths out the complexion. This is a skin tint, but it performs like a foundation. It's super lightweight and airy. It just kind of glides right onto the skin. Super lightweight. It's literally undetectable. It provides medium coverage, and in some instances, you can definitely build up the coverage to full coverage. It works beautifully with cream and powder products. For blush today, I use the CoverGirl True Blend Skin Enhancer Blush Balm. These are such beautiful products. They're super balmy, they're super easy to apply, and they just apply seamlessly onto the complexion. CoverGirl, I don't know what it is. They are really upping their game, and I'm here for it. It has that really light air whipped texture, and once you apply it, it definitely dries down quickly, so you have to move fast. But once it's on, it stays intact, it doesn't transfer, it doesn't move around, and the best part, you do not have to set it with any powder. It's almost like a self-setting skin tint. It is so pretty on the skin. I love the coverage, and I actually love how it feels on the complexion. You cannot feel it whatsoever. It is so lightweight, but it definitely stays intact all day long. You don't need to use a primer with this particular skin tint. You don't have to set it. Once you apply it, it is on there, and it stays on beautifully. I pushed this skin tint past 12, 13 hours, and I was completely surprised how beautiful it looked at the end of the day. It's a skin tint with an SPF that covers like a foundation, but it feels like a skin tint, and that's why it is #1 on my list of the best skin tints of the summer for mature skin. So what do you think, guys? Were you kind of surprised about this ranking of all these skin tints? Let me know down in the comments, and let me know what is your favorite go-to skin tint of the summer. You'll be helping me out as well as our community. But yeah, in my next upcoming video, I'm going to be sharing some products from the drugstore that have really knocked my socks off, and I can't wait to share them with you. But yes, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. And if you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing. I would love it if you are a part of our family. But for now, mwah, mahal kita, I love you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. This is a pretty lipstick.